podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Sunday, September 26th, 2021. This is episode 1832. Enjoy. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Your Tech Guy. It's time to talk tech. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number if you want to ask a question about computers or the internet or, anything having a chip in it. Smart cars, the current chip shortage, smart watches, smartphones. Yes, I have the iPhone 13. Wake me up when the 14 comes out. I have the iPad mini. That's kind of more interesting, actually. I have the Samsung Galaxy Flip. We could talk about those things, smart watches too. I do not have the next Google phone, the Google Pixel. Any minute now, the Pixel 6 will be out. Any minute being in the next 30 days, the Pixel 6 will be out. We could talk about the new Surfaces. Microsoft. It's interesting. John Gruber of the Daring Fireball blog pointed out the Microsoft doesn't call it Microsoft Surface, just Surface, and the website is surface.com, and the business is Surface, as if Microsoft had nothing to do with it. Yeah, well, they have a little to do with it. They make it. The new Surfaces, Surfaces, I don't know. Is it Greek? Surfaces. There's a Surface Pro 8, which is nice. There's the Surface Studio laptop, which is kind of interesting. To me, the most interesting is the new phone Microsoft has released, which they say do not call it a phone, but it is a phone. It's a dual screen phone, like a book. You open it up, there's a screen on the left, a screen on the right. It's the second try at this. They did it last year. I bought one last year, returned it within a month because the software didn't seem to use the two screens. It seemed like a good idea. This year, they've added good cameras. They've added some new features. They've added perhaps better software. I'm going to try it again. I like the idea. I do. So we can talk about that too. Don't have the Surface Duo is what they call it. Dual screen, get it? Duo. Get that October 21st. So it's a month out. 8888 Ask Leo. Now, when we talk about things, whatever that might be, recovering your AOL email account, figuring out why your phone doesn't pair to your car, whatever it might be, how come your printer doesn't work ever, you can call 8888 Ask Leo. And if I can't answer it, maybe somebody in our chat room, irc.twit.tv can, or somebody in our vast listening audience can call in and help you out. We try. Can't say I'm 100%, not batting 1,000, but we get most questions answered. If there is an answer, it'll go up on the website, techguylabs.com. That's thanks to James DeRuvo, who is our official scribe. He'll put it up there. techguylabs.com. And there's also audio and video of the show after the fact. This is episode 1832 in a continuing effort to figure out what the heck? What's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. TikTok's going on. Now, I confess I have a little dog in this hunt because my son, what is he? 27, just turned 27-year-old son. Hank_salt, that's his TikTok handle, is going viral all of a sudden. He got 13.5 million views on his last video earlier this week. He's got, 300,000 followers. He's growing like top. So I have a little kind of a soft spot in my heart for the idea of TikTok. He's good. He can make a living making short cuckoo cooking videos. That's what he does, cooking. And I look at it, I go, well, just remember, Leo, you got into radio, which, probably was pretty cuckoo itself back in the day. And this is the new medium, TikTok. The kids love it. So much so that it's caused a little bit of a problem with a site that does scientific studies. It's called Prolific. And the idea was scientists could put surveys up there, social scientists could put surveys up there and get, a lot of people to respond, and they can get some idea of how something works or whatever. Except all of a sudden, something went wrong. Nicholas Hall, director of the Behavioral Lab at the Stanford School of Business, said, online research makes, our job so much easier. You program a survey, you put it online. Within a day, you have 1,000 responses. That changed the face of social science. In fact, the Behavioral Lab at Stanford uses Prolific to do that. All of a sudden, though, something went wrong. A member of the Stanford Behavioral Laboratory posted on a Prolific forum, "We've noticed a huge leap in the number of participants on the platform in the U.S. pool from 40 to 80,000, which is great, but for some reason now a lot of our studies have a gender skew. Maybe 85% of the participants are women, plus the age has gone down. It's averaging now around 21. What's going on?" Well, a psychologist at Wayne State, Hannah Schechter, figured it out. She said, "This may be far-fetched, but look at this TikTok video." A TikTok video by Sarah N. Dom, that's her TikTok handle, about side hustles, suggested that people could make a little money taking surveys online at a site called Prolific. 4.5 million people saw that TikTok. 4.5 million. And by the way, mostly young women, because that's who follows Sarah and Dom. Young women around her age. Her real name, Sarah Frank, high school graduate in Florida, self-described teen author, side hustles #1. All of a sudden, this Prolific platform flooded by young women from TikTok. And essentially, it's not very useful anymore because it's a kind of a self-selected pool these days. Although, one researcher points out, young women who enjoy TikTok are people too. Frank says it's her most popular TikTok ever. It didn't occur to me, she said, that the video would blow up. I just posted it for my friends and followers, not for the reach it ended up getting. I think it blew up because Prolific is so genuinely cool and people love efficient ways to make money. She's now a freshman at Brown University, so maybe she can leave Prolific alone. Leave Prolific alone. This is the power, it's fascinating, of social networks. Yeah, and I'm not against social media, but it is the case. We got to kind of notice that it's changing things. Not necessarily the worst, but it is. Captain Kirk is actually going where no man has gone before. Well, not exactly no man. Richard Branson, or Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson went there before. William Shatner, 90 years old, will be the oldest man ever to go into space. Remember the New Shepard capsule that Jeff Bezos, with a cowboy hat, rode up into kind of low Earth? It wasn't even orbit. Low, just barely up and down. That was it, into space. Shatner is slated to be part of the second crew on the New Shepard capsule. TMZ say, it'd be cool if he wears his Captain Kirk costume to boldly go where no 90-year-old has gone before. 66.5 miles up, floating around a few minutes in zero gravity, and then back to Earth. They're going to, it's expensive. The last time they sold it, $20 million. But I don't think it's going to cost that much to put Captain Kirk up there. It's pretty cool. And I think they're making a documentary about it. So they'll make some money on it. To boldly go into space-ish. Captain Kirk. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. 888-827-5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. If you want to talk high tech, anything on your mind, anything going around, that you want to figure out, that's what I'm here for. Hello? 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 Can you hear me?
I can.
Hello? Anybody there? Hello?
Physically, yes. Mentally, maybe not.
Hello, Kim Schaffer.
Good day, sir.
How are you, my friend? Good day, sir.
Good day, sir.
Good day, sir.
No fizzy lifting drinks for you.
Yes. What is, you're talking Willy Wonka.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good day, sir.
I said, good day, sir. So Kim is, besides a lovely voice on the radio, is actually the person who answers the phones here, which is, do you have like a special headset and a one ringy dingy? Do you have or how does that work?
I have this headset that you see me wearing. Anybody?
Well, I see it,
but it's a pair of headphones.
Oh, you have a pair of headphones and a microphone.
And a microphone.
And then does that go into the phone? Does that go into the phone?
It does go into the phone.
How fancy,
I get to talk to the people. You're in this ear. You're in my right ear. The collars are in my left ear. So sometimes it's funny. You can hear the collars a lot better than I can because they're in both of your ears.
They're in both ears because I got two.
I have a lot of trouble sometimes understanding what people are saying because it's only in one ear.
Do they ever say, you seem like you're only listening with half an ear? Do they ever say that?
They don't, but they know now.
They know you are.
Now they know my secret. But,
so who should I talk to?
I really enjoy this question because it may stump you.
Oh, thanks. Great way to start the day.
Mike in San Luis Obispo, it seems like he's got some kind of a weird gremlin email problem. Like every time he puts his email in it says it's not valid. He goes, I've tried several addresses. I don't know why I keep getting told this.
I hate this question.
Yes. I know, you already hate it.
Thank you.
Love it because I want to see if you can answer it.
Thank you, Kim.
Mine too.
Thank you. Mike from San Luis Obispo, home of the Madonna Inn. Hello, Mike.
Hey, Leo. Thank you for taking my call. I never thought I'd have to call you, but I need you to help restore some sanity to my life. So
okay.
You can do that.
I don't know. I might make you more insane. Depends.
It seems whenever I try to fill in an online form, whether it's to set up bill pay for my garbage collection, reserve a hotel room, or even order a pizza, they want you to fill in your email address, and I do so, and it tells me that my email address is invalid.
You can't use that. I'm guessing, do not have a .com email address. You probably have a .pizza or something like that.
Well, I have a Gmail that I typically use, but then I've even tried to use my .com email address.
And it won't accept either of those?
No. So then what I thought was...
Because there are, these vanity domain names. Like I thought I was clever. I got a .email address, leo.email. That's not it, but something like it. And a lot of sites go, hey, .email is not a real address. But .com and gmail.com, how could they think that's not a real address?
Right. So then I thought, well, okay, maybe it's a browser issue. So I went from Safari to Chrome, and that didn't solve it. So then I tried it on a different computer. So I've got a couple Mac Minis. So I tried it on my old Mac Mini with Mojave. That didn't work. So then I went to my newer Mac Mini with Big Sur, and that didn't work. Occasionally, I can outsmart it by doing a copy-paste into the field instead of manually entering it.
Ah, that's a little hint. Although, I could see how this would be on one computer, but the fact that it's doing it on more than one computer is puzzling to me. Sometimes keyboards get in a mode where it looks like they're typing normal letters, but they're not. Make sure your region is U.S. Okay, so that you're using a U.S. keyboard. In fact, just to make sure, change it and set it back to U.S. in the regional settings.
Okay.
Just in case, because it may be that what you think you're typing is not what you're typing. It's on the only. It's very strange. It's doing it on two computers seems unlikely.
Two computers with two different keyboards. And then the keyboard is not so much the thing as the software the keyboard is driving. So you can have a French keyboard, a German keyboard, a Russian keyboard, and the letter C on each will be slightly different, at a different ASCII code. At this point,
I think what you're going to, let me see if there's a site where you can type in and see what the ASCII codes or the Unicode is because it might be that there's something odd going on with your keyboard drivers. Converter, I want to see if I can find a keyboard to Unicode converter, like somewhere where you could, what you want to see is what the site is getting.
Oh, I see. Well, here's one other hint, though. I called my garbage company because I was trying to do bill pay, and they said, well, if you're having problems, we'll set up your account on our end for you, which they did, and then I go to log on, same thing, invalid email address, even though they set up my account for me.
Huh.
And
okay, so now we got another problem, and I think this is a more serious problem. So it's not the keyboard, because obviously they're doing it, and they still get that error.
right.
That sounds like that email, and you're using a Gmail address and another address. Both of them are doing that?
Well, and then last night I had a friend over, and I was trying to book a hotel room, so I used her email address, and it still said invalid email.
Oh.
So 3 different email addresses all coming back invalid.
Oh, I don't know what's going on now.
And it happens on so many different sites. It can't be them. It has to be me.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that those email addresses that you're using are black holed, but she did it with her email address. It still said it didn't want it, or she did. Something's weird. Did she do it with her email address?
Yes. And it still said invalid email, and this was using Big Sur with the new Mac Mini with the M1 chip.
Let me take a break because I have to, as you can tell from the sound, take a break for commercials. Let me talk to you off the air, and then we'll take more calls after this. That's so strange. So strange. So let me see if I got this all correct. So is it various sites or one site?
No, I have tried various sites because, there's so many different things that you want to do that a pizza delivery. I tried to get a pizza delivered on Friday for my employees, and invalid email address to the local pizza place.
But you can go to Gmail, and that's your email address, and it works.
Yes.
Yeah.
The email works fine. And in fact, sometimes it says invalid, and I haven't even typed the whole email address in yet.
At what point does it say it's invalid?
Well, sometimes after two letters, I'm typing in the first two.
Okay. So it's not what you're typing, because your girlfriend used her email address and the same thing. So it's not what you're typing.
Exactly.
Do you use any? Do you use your ISP's DNS server, or do you use any special security software?
I don't have any security software. No.
So it's multiple computers, multiple sites, even multiple email addresses.
Exactly. So I was trying to find what.
So the only thing I'm thinking, what's in common? Well, it's not the computer, it's not the site. It's not even the email address or what you're typing. So what's in common is your home network. You see, right? That's the only thing that's in common in all those examples you just gave me is your internet.
But I have but I've even tried 2 different networks.
You've gone outside the house and tried this?
And my business network, yes. So in my searching, someone online said it's not you, it's the websites. The websites have a problem, but how could so many different?
That's conceivable because websites share. But you say this is happening. It's not happening on every site, but it's happening on many sites.
I'd say 80% of the time, it says invalid email address. So a small fraction, and maybe those are sites that I've done business with before, and somehow they recognize it. But anything new definitely locks me out.
And you're not using a VPN. You're not using any security software. You're not using a proxy server.
No, I mean, GoDaddy hosts my website.
No, that's not it.
I don't do anything through my website. I've got an Asus.
Who's your internet service provider?
Spectrum.
Okay. Is it in a? You might try going down to a coffee shop and just see if it's happening off Spectrum.
Oh, okay. See, that's one thing I haven't tested. So you think it could be a Spectrum issue?
Well, you see what's going on. You see how I don't know if you can grok my thought process here, but what we try to do is narrow it down, right? So it's not the computer. You tried 2 computers. It's not the site. You tried multiple sites. It's not your email address. You tried other email addresses. The only thing I can think of that's in common is your internet, your network. It could be Spectrum. It could be your router. So go down to a Starbucks. Try it on a Starbucks. If it still happens there, okay, then you got me. Then you need a young priest and an old priest, okay? And you,
all right.
Yeah, I would, or you could do this by tethering to your cell phone and using your cell phone carrier's internet. You don't have to actually go anywhere. Just some other internet besides your Spectrum. Just to see what, we're trying to narrow it down. And what I'm doing is figuring out what's in common in all these situations. And at this point, you've gone through enough things that at this point, I think what's in common has to be your internet connection.
That has Spectrum. All right. I never thought of that one part of
I don't know. I can't. I'm not saying that's what it is. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Because it's on 2 different computers with multiple email addresses, multiple sites. So, now you really got me. I don't know where to go with this one. Hey, I have to run. Let me know if you figure it out, would you?
Internet provider. I sure will. Thanks so much for your help, Leo.
Hey, at least we tried.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Okay, I talked to Micah for another few minutes. It's a mystery. Let me summarize. His email address is rejected by multiple sites. He's trying to order a pizza, lots of different things, as an invalid email address. His girlfriend tried it with her email address. It's rejected. They tried it on multiple computers. It still doesn't do it. The email address is real. You can go to his Gmail. It's there. He's not putting a dot at the beginning or something weird in it. It's a real email address. It's a mystery, isn't it? It's a puzzler. So I'm just trying to be logical here. So if we try 2 different computers, well, it's not the computer. Tried 2 different email addresses. Well, unless there's something in common between his and his girlfriend's email address that's weird, like it starts with a period or something, which I doubt, then it's not that email address in particular. It's, at this point, it's his home network or it's his internet service provider. It's something in common. So my next suggestion is to go out and try some other internet. Try your girlfriend's, try the Starbucks, use your phone as a hotspot, try some other internet service provider, not your router, not your network, not your internet service provider. See if the same thing happens. If it does, then I'm baffled. Then I don't know what's in common. It is possible, there are what we call black hole sites that take email addresses that have been used by spammers and put them down the black hole. There's Maps, M-A-P-S. There's Orbs. ISPs subscribe to these and will block emails from those addresses because they're known to be spam. Seems unlikely that he's got one of those addresses, but maybe that's what's going on. But how likely is it that he and his girlfriend have it? I don't know. It's baffling. Baffling. It is possible to have an email address that Gmail will accept and your provider will not, or various providers will not. For instance, Gmail allows you to have plus signs and dots in your email address. Leo.Laporte@gmail would be a legal Gmail address, but rejected by some sites. And Gmail, in theory, ignores the dot or the plus. It's part of the email spec. You could put it in there, and they're supposed to be ignored. But maybe some sites, you have to understand that everything we do in technology is resting on a fairly creaky, not so well thought out back end. And there's something in programming called regular expression parsing. It's a programming technique where you take something like an email address and you understand it. You break it up and you understand it. And in order to do that, you write some software, some code that says, well, there's going to be a certain number of alphabetic characters followed by an @ sign, followed by more alphabetic characters, followed by a dot, followed by more alphabetic characters, and you narrow it down more. The alphabetic characters at the end should be .com, .edu. And so I mentioned that my .email address sometimes fails because the people who wrote the regular expression wrote it so long ago, there was no such thing as anything but a .com, .org, .net, .gov. That was it. So they said, if it's not in this list, forget it. It's not real. Well, it is, because we've added a lot more. So that's pretty old code. So I see that a lot on websites. So sometimes you get situations like that. The people who wrote the website, and by the way, websites reuse code all the time. Somebody somewhere in 1978 wrote an email address parser that somehow became, they put it up on Stack Overflow. There's another dirty little secret of computers and coding, is that a lot of times programmers don't know how to do something, so they'll go to a website like stackoverflow.com. They'll Google it. How do I write an email parser? I need an email address parser. And they'll copy and paste it. They may not even understand how it works. This happens all the time. All the time. And so code that was written by somebody in 1978 that worked then, but maybe not very well, but it really doesn't work today, may well be in use on many, 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 many different sites. Because people just, programmers are, I don't want to say lazy. They like to conserve energy, perhaps. Why rewrite it if somebody wrote it way back when? Honestly, if you know enough to look at source code or how things work or look under the hood, you'll be amazed that it works at all. You'll go, and I don't mean just like somebody's website. I mean Microsoft Windows, Mac OS, Android. This works? Well, sort of. And the proof of that is how many security flaws there are. Every single month, Microsoft patches dozens of security flaws in Windows. This software is 20, 30 years old, much of it. How come it's not fixed? Well, we cut and paste a lot of it. I don't know. Nobody knows how it works. 8888 Ask Leo. I hope I'm not revealing, any big secrets here. But trust me, it's amazing that it works. It's like when you learn that the missiles in the ICBM missiles the United States has for our nuclear defense, that the code was 5 zeros. It's when you learn stuff like that, you go, it's amazing anything works. How did we get here? It's amazingly complicated, frankly. Jay on the line from Lake City, Florida. Hello, Jay.
Hi, how you doing, Leo?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I've been a long-time listener, and I honor your call here. I have low vision. I'm looking for a new laptop, and I'm hoping you can help select one.
Both Microsoft and Apple work very hard to make their software what they call accessible, easy for people with various abilities to use. In fact, Microsoft made a big deal about this in its most recent event on Wednesday, and I think it was great. It was really big, and the accessibility expert they had on said, "Look, we're all going to have disabilities eventually, and so we're designing for all of us, not just people with disabilities." And I thought that was a very good point. So the good news is iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, all very good with accessibility. Low vision, do you like to make the screen really big? Is that what you're looking for? Are you looking for a screen reader? That's the other thing to remember is everybody has different disabilities.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at I've used Linux for a few years. And
nice.
What I'm looking for is I don't have a computer, so it's hard for me to compare models.
Yeah.
I'm looking for like a 14-inch with a good screen, decent camera.
So you have enough vision that a screen matters to you?
Yes.
Okay. And price? What price are you looking at?
I'm looking at like 400, 500, but I can go a little higher.
Okay. I always recommend going a little higher. The screens will be better. The keyboards and trackpads will be better the more you spend, right? And the specs will be a little bit better. I think in that price point, HP, Acer, Dell, all have excellent choices. They're almost a commodity at this point, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
My suggestion would be for the best price, go to a big box store, a Sam's Club or a Costco, for a couple of reasons. One, they usually have last year's model selling at deep discounts, but also they have excellent return policies. So you can go in there and you can get it for 30 days and see if it fits the purpose. And if not, no harm, no foul, you can bring it back. And I think that's what you want. You want to try before you buy, because you want to see if you can see it, you like it, and then you want the best price. I think those places will give you the best price. And then finally, they have excellent return policies. All three of those are going to be probably more important than the brand name. Jay, I'm glad you listened. Thank you for calling. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More to come right after this. Costco, starting 29th, online only. Lenovo IdeaPad 15, 16 gigs of RAM. Yeah, that's nice, $649. That's a decent deal. IdeaPads are inexpensive, but okay. Yes. Your job here is done, Mike B. So I watched the first episode of Foundation last night because I know I have to. Hello, John.
Did you talk to me?
No.
Okay. I was doing I can't.
I'm just talking out. I'm talking to myself. I'm not talking to anybody. Just going. Request button. Oh, you're talking about Tesla, not my Mustang. Yeah, I think we talked about that last week. Then they test you. Then they check your driving for a week. Yeah. Mana mana do 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 do. Mana mana do 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 do. Mana mana do 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 do. Mana mana do 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 do. Mana mana do 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 do. Oh, Foundation. I watched the first episode, Lisa and I did. I surprised myself. I enjoyed it. They're trying to get a lot in a very small frame. Apparently, the first 10 episodes are only a third of the first book, so they're not trying to get the whole thing in, but I wonder if it might confuse people who aren't familiar with the novels. I don't know. But I liked it. I know Phoenix Warp. I know. I like a lot of things, but this rare that I like something from Apple TV. And this one, I think Apple TV finally, boy, it sure looks like $1 million. It looks pretty good. We'll see. I only saw the first one. I did try to watch The Man in the High Tower years ago. I love the book. Oh, Professor Laura is back in the house, our musical director. That was very good. Your Menomina is excellent. Excellent, Professor Laura. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. Raphael is on the line. You're cheering me up now from Burbank, California. Hello, Raphael.
Hello, Leo. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Good. I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
So I'm 28. I'm not the most tech-savvy guy for my age.
You should start a TikTok channel. Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
No. Not me. No way.
No. So my question was, Leo, I have a first-gen Apple Watch.
Yes.
My iPhone is iPhone 10.
Yes.
Latest iOS. And for some reason, every time I try to pair it and update the Apple Watch software, it gives me an error message saying not connected to internet. So I wanted to ask you, is it from the watch or the phone? Because I plan on changing my phone soon, so I don't know if it's the phone itself.
Yeah, I have the iPhone 12 and an Apple Watch Series 6, all up to date.
Mm-hmm.
could not get it updated to save my life. I had to reset the watch to get it updated to Watch OS 8.
Okay.
I think this is
Hard manufacturer reset?
Yeah, I think this is normal. So in the watch settings, there's a reset. The good news is it's an easy thing to do. If you do you have the one with cellular? No, probably not. Series 1 doesn't have cellular.
No.
Yeah, so you won't have that issue. You don't want to reset your cellular connection on a later Apple Watch. You want to continue to use the same cellular connection, but reset everything else. Just erase the watch. It'll take a couple of hours to do the whole thing, but I had to do it. It was the only way I could get the Apple Watch updated, and I think that this is not unusual. Okay. I would try that before you do anything else. Okay?
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Raphael.
How many miles you get on the Mustang?
How many, when I charge it up all the way?
Full charge.
Full charge, 275 miles.
Okay.
It's not like a Tesla. You know, you can get a Tesla with extended range over 300. But remember how, this is the biggest concern people have with electric vehicles. Do you have an electric vehicle?
No. But I wasn't too crazy for electric vehicles until Ford made the Mach-E.
I love my Mach-E. I've had a Tesla. I've had the Chevy Bolt. We just ordered the Mini Cooper. My wife's going to buy a SE, which is their electric Cooper. So I love electric
Mach-E's
vehicles.
your favorite?
Right now, yeah. And the thing about range is unless you are routinely driving 250 miles every day, it's not a concern because you charge it up at night. You always start the day, if you want, you can always start the day with a full tank. I don't charge it more than 90%, but it's unlikely that you're going to... Now, when you go on a road trip with any electric vehicle, then it takes some planning because you're going to go more than 250 miles in a day. That means you're going to find a charger. All electric vehicles have in their nav features, to my knowledge, all electric vehicles, certainly the Tesla and the Mach-E do, the ability to say, yeah, I'm going to be driving this far. Where should I stop? And they'll say, okay, there's, in the case of Tesla, supercharger here. You stop, you'll stay there for 30 minutes. You'll move on, et cetera, et cetera. So you can plan it out. But you just have to remember that they're not as prevalent as gas stations, right? With with gas vehicle, you can always get gas. When you get low, you pull over, there's a gas station. We're not there yet with electric. Although along the big interstates, we're getting close. So Electrify America is rolling out almost everywhere along the interstates in the U.S. So you'll plan it out. You'll know where to stop. And the other thing you have to plan for is it's not as fast as filling up a gas tank. You do that in a couple of minutes. It's going to take you half an hour to an hour. You're probably not even going to fill it up all the way. That's why these nav features are so helpful. They'll say, well, you only need to get to 75% because then you're going to be able to get to the next charger. So it's fastest to charge it up to about 70%. It slows down at that point to protect the battery. It can take, 45 minutes to an hour, even longer, depends on how fast the charger is, to charge the thing up all the way. So that's the planning that's different. But for day-to-day, I mean, I don't, I charge my Mach-E once or twice a week. Don't need to charge it more than that because I don't drive that many miles, even when I'm driving, into town or that kind of thing. This has been our Sam Abul-Samad car segment. Sam, as you might have noted, not here today, taking the day off to do a little driving with his daughter. Nice. I encourage that. He'll be back next week to talk automotive. I'm a big fan. I am of electric vehicles. I think they're fantastic. Billy, Hollywood, you're next. Hello, Billy.
Hey, Leo. Love your show. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you so much for listening.
I have a question it's about a 4-year-old Insignia Best Buy, I guess, TV.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it doesn't have any Bluetooth. And I have neighbors who hear my TV. I also have a Apple TV, so I use the Apple TV a lot and can use my earbuds. And I bought a Tautronics wireless adapter for the Bluetooth. It doesn't really work. So
you want to use Bluetooth with your Insignia TV so your neighbors don't hear the rumble of Arnold Schwarzenegger's tank blast. Yes.
Exactly.
I understand that completely. I honestly don't think Bluetooth is the best choice for this because there's latency. You might have noticed this with your Apple TV, although Apple does some good job to keep that latency low, which means the lip sync isn't going to be great. So there are, Sennheiser and others sell wireless headphones that don't use Bluetooth but are designed to hook up to your TV and you can sit wirelessly across from the TV. It uses infrared instead of light instead of Bluetooth. That's probably what I would use instead. So you can look at Sennheiser TV headsets. They make a variety of these. That's what I got from my mom. Some of them are Bluetooth, some of them are not. But I think they just do a really nice job. And it depends on, how much you want to spend and so forth. But they do a very, very nice job.
What's the name of the company again?
Sennheiser, which is a long-time, I think, Austrian headphone manufacturer. Sennheiser. Sennheiser.
Great.
So that's probably better than Bluetooth. I've had those for years. I gave my mom a pair because she's getting older and the same problem. There's one other thing that you might think about. It probably is cheaper than getting a Sennheiser. Many Rokus, that's like your Apple TV. It's a standalone box you hook up to the TV. Many Rokus have headphone jacks in the remote, which is brilliant. I wish everybody would do this. So you can plug the headphone jack into the remote. You don't need to get any special fancy stuff. You're just using the Roku. I don't think all of them do that, so you should probably look at roku.com. But that would be probably even less than buying the Sennheiser headphones, and you'd get another box, kind of like your Apple TV box. I use a Roku Ultra, which is their 4K. And that definitely has a headphone jack in the headphones. I thought that was inspired. It even comes with little earbuds. So they're wired. Of course, the remote is wireless, so you can sit anywhere you want. And it does a very good job as well. So that's another way to go. Roku.com. They're kind of my favorite streaming device these days. Very affordable. Mostly under $100. And they just do a great job. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number. A lot of ways to solve this headphone problem. You're not alone, very common. But I think there's a couple there for you. Sennheiser and Roku. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, all that jazz. Our digital photographic guru, Chris Marquardt, joins us this hour to talk about digital photography. I hope you're participating in our assignment. We're looking for messy pictures. You can upload them to the Tech Guy group on Flickr. And I don't think we're going to do a review this week. Maybe next week we'll take a look at some of those pictures that people have submitted, illustrating the idea messy. That should be easy. Frank's on the line from Laguna Beach, our next caller. Hey, Frank. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo, great to speak to you. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you.
Leo, yesterday I was listening to the show, and a guy was reaching out to you about keeping his mother in her 90s connected to the family from a rest home environment. And I have an amazing solution sitting on a table in my house that I found for my wife.
Yeah.
And this is a Kodak Pulse picture frame.
Oh.
That is a digital frame that hooks up to your Wi-Fi in your house, and you designate somebody as the designee. So it's like Jan at kodakpulse.com. And anybody that we know that we give that to, and anybody in the family, can email pictures to the frame.
Love that.
And a little envelope shows up. You touch the envelope, you preview the picture, and you add it to your inventory.
Love
and
that.
It's touchscreen, and it has all these features for swipes and all these fun ways to see the pictures in different sequences. I love it. And I highly recommend it.
I'm looking on it on Amazon. It's $90, so it's affordable. Is there a subscription fee?
Not at all.
Wow.
Not at all.
Nice.
No, it's so cool. And I recommend, I give them out at Christmas to my family so everybody can, instead of dialing in and on your Facebook and all these Facebook little notifications.
Yeah, I don't want to see the Facebook stuff. Exactly. Yeah, but I do want to see the pictures, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I get little Easter eggs all the time from people from all over the world, not just my local family. And it's so cool. And the frame's a nice size, and it's really versatile. It's an amazing device. So I just thought I'd share that with you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. I wonder who makes it. Is Kodak? I don't think Kodak is around anymore.
I know. I don't know who has the brand name, but it's, somebody bought it. Right?
Somebody bought it. It's interesting that they don't charge a subscription because they are, in effect, providing a service, which must cost them a little bit, that email service.
It seems like it, but there isn't any. There absolutely is no.
Interesting. I'm curious who's making it because but it's a great idea. Certainly. I like the idea of a photo frame. Yeah.
I bought it at Best Buy, okay? So I don't know if that makes any difference to anybody, but I was there at Christmas time, and I was looking at these things, and the guy goes, you got to get this one.
My only concern is I'm looking at Amazon reviews. It looks like Kodak did make this, but they stopped making it in 2012. Now, obviously, they made so many that it's still around. And as long as that email forwarding still continues to work, there's some server running somewhere that's doing it, then I think that's fine. Yeah. It was originally designed to work with Kodak cameras, I guess, is the impression that I'm getting. I bet you some Chinese company bought it and is keeping it alive.
It's such a great, it is really a cool device. So,
hey, I appreciate it, Frank. Now that you know the way, don't be a stranger.
I won't. I listen to you all the time.
All right, thanks.
Have a great afternoon.
Take care. You too. I'm a big fan of the idea of digital photo sharing. You know, remember it was a big thing back in 2012, maybe even a little earlier. There were a lot of companies making these digital photo frames. And you would mail grandma an SD card, she'd pop it in, and there'd be a photo album. But really, the best way to do this nowadays is over the internet. Truthfully, you could use any Google device, Nest device with a screen on it, like the Nest Hub or Nest Hub Max. Nest Hub's nice because it doesn't have a camera. Nest Hub Max does. Depends on your privacy feelings. But I use that, and basically by creating albums in your Google Photos, you could share those albums with somebody else. So grandma could just automatically, without doing anything, get updated photos from the family. Maybe a little more tricky to set up than the Kodak device, but a little more capable as well. It does other things. 8888 Ask Leo. That's one of the things we do here. We help each other out. Still looking for a solution for this crazy email address doesn't work thing from last hour. If you've got an idea for that one, that was a little wild. You can also go to the website, techguylabs.com, and leave a comment there. Robin on the line from San Pedro, California. Hello, Robin.
Hey, greetings, Leo.
Greetings and salutations.
Yes, or as Leo Gorski would say, greetings and sanitation.
From the Bowery Boys. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow. That. I did too. I loved them.
So I have a question for you.
Yes.
I was scrolling down through Facebook, and I came across an ad that said this super duper Dell laptop for $79.
Oh, that's got to be good.
Yeah. Well, the specs were great. I mean, it was almost a $2,000 laptop. So I thought, well, anything that sounds too good to be true probably is. So I clicked on it, and it took me to a site that has 5 or 6 major brand laptops of all different kinds of models: Asus, HP, Lenovo, Dell. And so I looked through there and kept looking, and I found a really great Asus laptop gaming computer, almost $4,000 for $99 plus $13 shipping. And so I bought it.
Oh, interesting. I'm glad you did. Tell me how that worked out.
I haven't got it yet.
Oh, we'll find out.
It's probably sitting in one of these 70 container ships off the coast.
Oh, could be, yes.
LA Harbor.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
But I'm just wondering, is this, a couple of questions. Is this a scam?
Sure sounds like it.
Am I going to get that laptop eventually? And if I do, of course, it's from China. Is it going to have any type of Chinese spyware on it?
The spyware is probably the least of your worries. You can certainly get rid of it if it does. I'm trying to think how this works. I would guess these were laptops that were sent to be recycled. They were thrown out, and they perhaps got them up and running again. Does it guarantee that it works? Is there a guarantee of any kind?
There's a money-back guarantee.
All right. That's such a low price. There's something going on. I'm not sure. It's an interesting question. I can't wait till you get it so you could tell us. My general advice is I have no problem buying refurbished or used laptops, but my strong preference is to buy it from the manufacturer. So an Asus from Asus, a Dell from Dell, because they're going to stand behind it with their manufacturer's warranty. Presumably they know how to refurbish it right. There is a brisk business in these. They're not $90, but the reason is that the many states, including California, forbid the resale of anything once it's been opened as new. It's no longer new, even if it was never turned on. So they have to sell it as refurbished, and often their discounts aren't great. I often recommend refurbished products from the original manufacturer. This is a little different, and boy, the price is a lot lower.
I thought for $99, I'm going to satisfy my curiosity.
Yeah, and satisfy all of our curiosity. How long ago did you order it?
2 weeks ago, maybe.
Okay.
And they said it's in shipping, but they don't give any tracking number.
Oh, it's not unusual if it's coming from China for it to take more than a month. Just because they put it, as you say, they put it on a boat, and you're right. There's an astronomical number of container ships waiting to be unloaded off Long Beach in L.A. Probably on one of them. It's just because somebody buys an ad on Facebook Facebook doesn't vet them. Doesn't mean necessarily that they're legit. Where do they get them? Probably these were recycled.
They showed a warehouse just stacked, huge warehouse just stacked with laptops.
Yeah.
Now, who knows if that picture's even legit?
Maybe they were dumped. Who knows? This is also the case of manufacturers. It's not unheard of. You see it less these days. Will make too many of something. And then either decide not to sell it or, just mothball them. And maybe somebody smart in China bought enough of them, they could say, hey, we should sell these for $90 each. So
I got another real quick question for you.
Yes.
I have a Apple 7, and I'm thinking of going to Android because I want a bigger screen. And I started looking at all the Android phones now made by everybody, and it's just overwhelming and daunting. Is there one that you can recommend that's bigger?
Yes. If you don't want to spend $1,000 and get something like a Google Pixel, which is the best Android out there, and the Pixel 6 comes out next month. But if you want a big screen, you only want to spend a couple of $100. Look at Moto, M-O-T-O, the G9. The G Pure, the G Power, the G Series are budget phones, 6.1 to 6.7 inches. They're nice big screens. They're relatively pure Android. They're a great deal. The only thing you give up, maybe not the fastest processor, not the best cameras, but more than adequate. And for the price, and I'm talking $100 to $300, depending on which model.
That's great.
They're a great deal.
Yeah.
Highly recommend the G Series. You're welcome.
Okay. And when I find out about China,
as soon as you get this laptop, got to hear from you. I really want to know, Robin.
Okay, Leo, I appreciate
the call. Thank you. Yeah, the reason I know this is I have a family member who shall remain nameless, who drops her phone. my daughter drops her phone pretty much every 3 months. Now, I'm not going to buy her a new iPhone every 3 months. That's crazy talk. So I was looking for what's a good quality Android phone. She likes Android that I could get that's not too expensive. And I have been, for the last 2 years, giving her Moto G Series. I had a Moto G Series myself. Loved it. I think they're excellent. The latest one is the G9 Power because that has more battery life. That's another thing she forgets to charge a lot, as kids do. I think it's a great device. The G Pure has just been updated. Will be out soon. If you get last year's model, it'll be even less expensive. Just really, they're big. In fact, the G9 Power is 6.9 inches. And I think that they're fairly clean as far as the operating system, the Android goes. I think they're a very good choice. I have no qualms, right? And she loves it. She's very happy too. What did she say? Does that go? What are you going to do when you get out of jail? I'm going to have some fun? Did I misunderstand that? Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I'm going to have some natural fun. 8888, ask Leo. Yeah, you can tell Laura's back, our musical director. Thank you, Laura. Who sings that? I love that.
Tom Tom Club.
Tom Tom Club, of course. The great, the immortal, shall we say, Tom Tom Club. Let's go to Mahesh on the line from Eastvale, California. Hello, Mahesh.
Hey, Leo. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thanks for calling. Welcome.
So I was listening to you earlier regarding that call where the guy bought the laptop for $99.
$99 from China. He saw it on Facebook. What could possibly go wrong?
That is definitely a fraud.
Well, obviously, but I'm trying to figure out in which way it's a fraud. Do you think you'll get anything?
No. So there's a couple ways they do it. I've done it a few times just to see what happened.
Yeah.
And once I've ordered, I think it was one of those electric scooters.
Yeah.
And it was too good to be true. I knew it right away.
Yeah.
And I went through the process. I paid through PayPal because obviously PayPal is pretty secure. So if anything, I can always put a claim back in there.
Right.
And instead of the scooter, they sent me a Halloween mask.
Surprise!
The next time I tried something else, they sent me, those like $10 headphones, those that look like the Apple.
Yeah, the phony AirPods. Yeah.
The earpods, yeah. So they send you these fake ones.
Yeah.
In return, they're getting like almost $100 from you. So for them, it's no cost, and they're hoping that you won't, make a big fuss out of it or something. So they still made money off of you.
Oh, what a world! And of course, how are you going to go after them? They're in China.
You can't. And then the other thing I noticed is once you buy it from Facebook on one of these ads, you'll never see that ad again. So you can't even leave a review or anything.
Oh, clever.
Yes.
Clever. Yeah, I like buying on Amazon and reading the reviews, but even that is not safe. Yes. Amazon just kicked 600 Chinese companies off Amazon for ad review fraud. They basically paid for reviews. So you can't even trust that anymore.
No, you can't.
It's very frustrating.
That's why I called in just to chime in.
I am so glad. So I wonder what he's going to get. A mask. I love that. Yeah. They don't even attempt. They don't even make it something like a scooter, so that you think, oh, maybe I misunderstood. They just don't even bother.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yes, correct.
That's a sign of a bad guy who just doesn't care. He can't be arrested.
So the last one, what I did was I filed the claim every time.
Yeah.
And then they came back to me. Before you file a claim, obviously you have to contact the seller. So I contacted them and I said, hey, what is this? You did one of those switch bait on me, or a bait and switch. And they're like, well, we already paid for the shipping. We're sorry we sent you the wrong thing. If you'd like, you can keep it. We'll give you 30% back. I'm like, no.
No, I want 100% back.
Yeah, I want a full refund. So then they said 70%, then they 80%. I'm like, which part do you not understand? I said full refund.
You sent me a mask worth 50 cents, and you're trying to keep $100. What the hell?
Exactly.
Oh, man. Well, you can see how the scam works, right? Most people aren't going to pursue it all the way that you did. That's the other thing. A credit card's even better than PayPal for that, because you can always get a chargeback. And if they get enough chargebacks, the credit card company's going to cut them off. So that's why they use PayPal and other systems like that. Hey, Mahesh, I'm so glad you called. Now we know the inside story. Take care. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Thank you.
It's time to talk digital photography on the Tech Guy Show with Chris Marquardt. He's my personal photo sensei at sensei.photo, SENSEI.photo. Hello, Chris. How are you today?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm great. I didn't realize I was talking earlier about our messy assignment. I didn't realize it was time for a review.
Yeah, it's high time. We skipped a week, and it should have been last week, but it's now. So... yeah, the messy assignment has been going on for a bit over a month. We have 50 results, and it's time to take a look at the photos. And I have them here. I've chosen 3 photos to talk about here.
I do have to say, even these messy photos are beautiful.
that was kind of the idea, to take beautiful photos of messy stuff.
It's a beautiful mess.
And all the listeners who participated have delivered. That's really good stuff. It was a tough choice this time. So I made a choice. First one I've chosen is called Kitty Playground. So what we're looking at is someone's kitchen floor with open boxes, quite messy, right? With boxes, cardboard boxes, and several of them, and a bag, and a cat, a black cat, which I guess, probably cats like boxes. So there's one main reason. Well, first of all, it's a nice messy photo. Second, it's taken with an iPhone. So again, a proof that you can take a great photo with just the thing that you have in your pocket. But there's an interesting thing to observe here, and that is, do you see this mist up here in the top half of the photo?
There's a lot of light coming in from the window, and it's all misty.
Right. Well, and the interesting thing is that I'm pretty sure the kitchen isn't misty, but that's one of the artifacts that you sometimes get from lenses, where light coming from the front will reflect back and forth inside the lens. You know, there's several layers of lens and glass in there, so there's surfaces that the light can reflect on. And that sometimes, especially with very bright light coming from the front, as in here, can create that. So some lenses are kind of immune, but those are usually the really expensive ones. I kind of like the effect. I think it's an interesting light phenomenon that we're looking at here. So anyway, that's the first one. Second one is a photo taken by our moderator, Rennie Silverman.
Oh, nice.
Is it fall yet? And it's so we're looking top down. She shot that top down picture of her feet, blue shoes, orange socks, and a puddle of sorts, and fall leaves of different colors in the water, which is kind of messy. But then on the other hand, I like the fact that the orange in the socks repeats in the leaves, and it's a nice contrasting color to the blue shoes. So it comes together nicely. I think I like the color scheme in that. So,
and the mess here is the autumn leaves that have filled the puddle.
Probably, but it doesn't feel too messy to be honest.
It's a little messy. Yeah,
it's a little messy. And then last but not least, last photo is by R. Fraser, who has been featured on here several times before. By the way, I don't look at the names when I choose the photos. I only look at the photos. I just realized it was Renee's photo. So same with R. Fraser. This is an industrial type of situation. We're looking at, some industrial machinery, lots of tubing and grayish, bluish color, and
looks like a cement factory or something.
Sort of conveyor belts, that kind of stuff. So it looks messy, but on the other hand, those things are notoriously difficult to photograph because you have a messy background that takes away from the subject, or there's too much on the photo because you can't be far away. You have to be close, and then you use a wide angle that catches more stuff in the photo that you want. And this photo has been taken with a telephoto lens from far away, and the background is just this low contrast landscape, side of a hill kind of thing, which again, it's a messy situation, but it feels really well tidied up in terms of a photograph. So that's pretty much what I was looking for. Tidy photos of messy things. So really good job, everyone. So
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. That's great. 50 photos in the collection we have here. And again, wasn't easy. It's definitely not easy. So good job with that. Really good job.
Now we need a new assignment. We have to start all over.
We need a new assignment.
Yeah.
And I don't have one, but we'll make one. So here's the thing. Remember a few weeks ago, we talked about photo assignments, like photo exercises. And then the last one that I brought up was get a fishbowl, put some words in there on pieces of paper. And then I thought that would be a good idea to do this here. So this is what I've done. Here is the official
There's
Photo
a
Sensei fishbowl.
He's got a fishbowl.
I got a fishbowl, and I'm not afraid to use it. I put adjectives in there, like stuff like adventurous or busy or colorful or mysterious, like all that kind of stuff. So like common adjectives. And we'll do a drawing. I will draw one right here on.
This is exciting. It's so exciting.
It is, isn't it? The assignment is... Here we go. Happy.
Well, that's
happy
but that's
is
a good
the
one.
Assignment for happy. I think so. I think it is.
All right.
So
picture that illustrates the word, the concept, the idea. Happy.
Right.
Now, once you get
and
that,
we'll do this with all the other assignments from now on.
I like
the
that.
Fishbowl.
I like that. So once you get, the idea of what you're looking for, go out there. The whole point of this really, it's not there's no prize. The idea is to get out there, take more pictures. Anything that gets you to take more pictures is a good thing because the more pictures you take, the better your pictures will be. Nobody ever got better not using their camera. Let's put it that way. It doesn't matter if you have a fancy camera phone, just fine. If you've got the new iPhone, maybe play with that a little bit. Got an old iPhone, do that. God, it doesn't matter. Go out and take a picture that illustrates the word, the concept, the idea of happy. Now, once you've got something, you can submit up to one a week, okay? You're going to submit it to the Tech Guy group on Flickr. That's where Renee Silverman is our moderator. So Flickr.com, that's free. It's a photo sharing site. And you join the Tech Guy group, also free. You'll know you're in the right place. There's 11,000 members. It's a very active group. Renee, the moderator, will welcome you into the group and then submit your happy picture. But do us a favor so we know that it's a submission for next month's review. Tag it, and not just happy, tag it TG Happy, TG being Tech Guy. That way we'll know it's for the Tech Guy show, and Chris is going to be looking at those. We should get a lot of submissions. You got a lot of messy ones.
I think so. Yeah, messy was really good, and happy I think will be even more.
A lot of messy pets. Seems like pets and children were the prime source of messes in our messy photos. I guess I'm not surprised.
I wonder why.
They may also be the prime source for happy. They go together, messy and happy. Yeah. Again, Tech Guy group on Flickr. Happy is the assignment. Now, if you're interested in Chris Marquardt, he's interested in you. He does coaching. He has classes. Best place to start is sensei.photo. That's his website for coaching, sensei.photo. But Chris is also a great photographer in his own right and hosts one of the best photography podcasts out there, certainly the longest running, Tips from the Top Floor. Is this back when you used to be in the top? You're not on the top floor anymore, are you?
Well, the house has a top floor. Let's put it that way. But I'm on the ground floor right now.
tfttf.com. And sometime soon we'll be doing those photo workshops again. I can't wait. Let us know when the next one is because I want to be on that. Thank you, Chris Marquardt.
Thank you.
More of your calls still to come. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Happy. Take happy pictures. Happy little trees. Happy little trees.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
As simple as that.
Okay.
So now I need to find a place to store the fishbowl.
Did you guys get that just for the drawing?
It was $12, I think.
That's a good idea. This will
will
save all of the effort and struggle. That'll be good. Yeah.
Oh, we can. The thing is, we could even expand this, not just adjectives, but if we want to make it a bit more involved, there could be another color in there with nouns, with nice. Happy bicycle or something that might.
Well, you need two fish bowls,
more
adjective and a noun.
No, different color paper.
Oh, okay, that'll work. All right.
But I thought we'd start simple with just adjectives and then see how this goes. And
happy's good.
Yeah.
You could put emotions in there. You could put feelings. You could put colors.
It's all in
sorts
there.
Of stuff
it's all in there.
Yeah.
It's all in there.
Nice.
It's plenty of paper.
All right, Chris. Have a great week.
All right.
See you later.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Ah, blue, blue man in a blue, blue house. If I were green, I would die. I'm blue. Only earworms all day long, right? Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo, the phone number. Back to the phones we go. Caller Jay from, oh boy. Now, you wrote, oh, and Jay hung up. So there you go. Save me a little trouble there, Kim, because you wrote Worcester, Mass.
Yeah.
And I believe it's Worcester. Now, Jay would have confirmed this or not. Did he say Worcester? Did he say Worcester?
Uh-oh. Did you disappear?
Yeah, that's okay. I'm just wondering, did he say Worcester?
No, he said Worcester to me.
Yeah, but you wrote Worcester.
Well, I wrote
You
it.
wanted me to say Worcester?
I don't know how
You're
it's
tricking me.
I actually don't know how it's
It's
spelled.
pronounced Worcester.
I know, but
W-O-O-S-T-E-R-H.
did you want me to just put W-S-T? Did you want me to do it?
No. I'm just curious if you're trying to punk me. That's all.
Worcestershire sauce.
Yeah, like Worcestershire sauce. Yeah.
Did he? But
He hung up on me. I'm sorry. That's all right. Well, maybe he was embarrassed by the pronunciation of Worcester. Worcester. Yeah, see, I know that because I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island, just down the road from Worcester. Newt on the line from Aliso Viejo, California. Hey, Newt.
Hey, Leo. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Thanks for hanging on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Believe me. If you don't mind, I'd like to throw about 3 things up on the wall, and you take your pick.
I'll answer them all if I can. I got 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay, sir. I'll be brief. Rural internet connections is interlink our best hope going forward.
Do you mean Starlink, Elon Musk's satellite?
Starlink.
Yeah, I think so. So this is a problem in this country because the way we've constructed this, it's all for-profit companies. And in fact, the for-profit companies have gone to state legislatures and say, no federally funded, no state-funded internet for us. You got to use a commercial company. And these for-profit companies like Comcast, Cox, AT&T, Verizon, it's expensive to wire up cities. So they're going to wire up places where there are the most people per square mile because there's most potential to make money. You go out in the rural areas where there's one person for, every square mile or, a couple of customers per square mile. There's just no incentive for them to spend thousands of dollars a foot to trench out there. So wireless providers are your best bet. Cell phone providers, they're putting up cell towers. They're still serving rural areas, not as well as urban, but better than the wired carriers. So cell phone providers might be one. Many rural areas, especially in Montana and Wyoming, big sky country, they'll use microwave systems. They're called wireless internet service providers, or WISPs. You may have that option. But yes, I think ultimately, down the road, Starlink is going to be the best bet. Early users of Starlink are reporting a couple of hundred megabits, very fast. Even though it's a satellite, the latency is relatively low, under 100 milliseconds. Not ideal maybe for a fast-paced video game, but certainly enough for most of the internet things you do. Right now it's expensive, $500 for the hardware, $99 a month for the access. But that price, I think, will go down. Elon's launching more satellites all the time. His goal, his goal was to get 12,000 up there. Last I saw, I think he wants to get more than 20,000 up there. So
oh, my gosh.
More satellites helps because it means better connectivity. And his plan is to get internet access to every square inch of the globe, not just the U.S., everywhere. So, yes, I think that's the future. Have you signed up for it?
Yes, I did. But my concern is my son, who lives up a little bit north of you in Fortuna, California.
So because Aliso Viejo, you have many choices. But up in Fortuna, you may not. Yeah. So north is good. Northerners are getting it sooner than others. I also signed up. I'm in Northern California as well. $100 to sign up. That's refundable if you don't do it. So you get in line. They still haven't offered it to me. I guess they haven't offered it to him yet either. The big issue right now is the cost. It is not the least expensive choice, but it's probably better. It's probably less expensive than the other satellite choices like Wild Blue and Hughes and so forth. And I think it's going to be much, much better service. So, You know,
you and I talked about this 3 years ago, and I think we were hoping that Starlink would come on sooner rather than later, but
it's coming. It's coming. Lots of people have it. Amazon's doing the same thing. They have something called Project Kuiper, Kuiper. They're going to have to change that name before they go public with it, I think. But they did get approval from the FCC to launch more than 3,000 satellites. So
my granddaughter was not as concerned about rural internet connections 3 years ago when she's 8. Now she's almost 12, and she's more and more interested. So
is she living up in Fortuna?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. As they get older, they really want to get online, and you know what? They need to. This is their future.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
the other thing is, I've got a 27-inch iMac that is a 2011 version. Been working perfectly, but I've noticed that Apple seems to be backing away from the 27-inch.
No.
Should I buy a new 27-inch?
No. So here's what they're doing. They released, because they're doing, they're moving to Apple Silicon. They're getting rid of Intel chips, making their own. So the first iMacs they released, in fact, the first MacBooks and the first Mac Minis they released were all low end. And those were released earlier this year. Next month or the month after, they will announce higher end processors with the higher end machines. It's almost certain, of course, no one knows for sure because Apple doesn't say, but it's almost certain they will replace the 27 inches with 32 inches. They'll be roughly the same size, but smaller bezels, bigger screen. So if you like a big screen iMac, you're definitely going to want to wait. There will be higher end iMacs, I think, this year, and they will feature the new processor. And all indications are that thing is going to be a beast. So if you want a higher end Mac, I would say wait. Those are coming soon.
Well, that information is worth the dime I spent calling you. The last thing I wanted to say to you, sir, was about 2 or 3 months ago on that 27-inch iMac that's been, it's as old as it is, it's serviced well. When I would get up in the morning and turn that machine on, I started to get a question mark in a folder.
Hard drive's starting to go.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, probably. It's 10 years old. It's, the first thing to go is the thing with the moving parts. Sure. If the chips survive the first year, they'll probably survive forever, except for, sometimes heat or moisture. But chips don't, they don't wear out, but hard drives do. And that's not a difficult replacement. In some of the Macs, it's a little more complicated than others, but it might be worth looking at that.
Okay, but I probably don't want to do it on the 2011 version. I
think you're gonna. If you've put some money aside, put some pennies in that piggy bank. I think you're gonna want to wait and see what Apple does in the next few months.
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I took those pennies and I bought iDrive.
Good man. Yeah, pennies a month, literally. Yeah.
Exactly right. And the question mark in the folder is gone, and my computer is much faster.
Well, at least, and this is the nice thing, you got to back up, and that's really what's most important, because when hard drives do, they get flaky. They're moving parts. They will wear out. 10 years is a good long time for an hard drive to survive. So, yeah. A prudent thing would be to have a good backup. I think you did the right thing by getting an iDrive. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number if you want to talk high tech. Let's do it. Let's talk high tech, you and me. 888-827-5536. Anything with a chip in it is fair game. 8888 Ask Leo. It's toll free in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still reach me, but you have to use Skype out or something like that to get to me. There is a website where I put all the links, all the information, anything I mention at techguylabs.com. This is episode 1832. So if you go there, you'll see that episode. Then you can click it. It's divided into hours, 1, 2, and 3. We're in hour number 3. Each hour divided into segments, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can drill right down, and you can find the text from the question and the answer. That's James DeRiveau's work. He's writing that all down. Thank you, James. And then we put audio and video from the show after the fact, so you could watch or listen if you want as well. It's all free. There's no sign up. It's just there so that, you have somewhere to go during the week. You heard something, you can find it there, techguylabs.com. I also do podcasts all week long. Silly me, when I started doing this back in 2004, actually, I've been doing tech talk radio since the 90s, but when I became the tech guy, I was anointed the tech guy in 2004. I thought, well, I could make a living working Saturday and Sunday. That's a good deal. I should just take Monday through Friday off. Any sensible person would do that, right? I make a pretty good living doing this show. I could just take the time off and enjoy my life. No, I said. No, says I. I'm going to start a business. We're going to do shows the rest of the week. Something like, I don't know, I was up to like 15 shows a week. It was crazy. Working 7 days a week. I've cut back a little bit, but we still have a podcast network called TWiT, This Week in Tech. It's online at twit.tv. It's where we get really nerdy. So there's shows about security and photography and Windows and Mac and iOS and, there's all sorts of tech news, a couple of tech news shows. So if you want to hear more tech all week long, twit.tv. I should mention, if I'm mentioning TWiT, that we're also doing a TWiT cruise for the podcast fans. And you too, if you want to come, I'd love to see you. Not this year. We thought, let's wait till 2022. How about that? Next summer, we're doing the TWiT cruise. You can find out more about it at cruise.twit.tv. 7-day cruise to Alaska on Holland America's Eurodom. I'm going to be going with my wife, Lisa. We're also taking Paul Thurrott, who's the host of our Windows show, Windows Weekly, and his wife. And I think we've got 100 people going so far. It's going to be a lot of fun. A great group. Very geeky. We'll have some events. We'll do some photo walks, that kind of thing. If you want to know more, love to see you this summer as we head to Alaska. Cruise.twit.tv. All right, I'm done plugging. Let's go back to the phones. Now we got Jay in Worcester. Hey, Jay. How you doing?
Hey, Leo. How are you?
How's things in Worcester?
Well, it's about the same.
Yeah, always. I grew up in Providence, so I know how to say Worcester, Mass. What's up?
Well, I'm standing in front of this. I'm an owner of this Apple iPad.
Okay.
Would you like to know what I feel about this thing?
Don't throw it.
Please ask me how I feel.
How do you feel about the Apple iPad?
Well, I'm glad you should ask. Have you seen that movie Office Space?
I have. Love it. You have a baseball bat? You're going to take it out in the field?
You got it. That's what I feel like doing.
Well, pretty much all technology deserves a place next to that fax machine in that movie, because all technology has enough flaws to frustrate even the best of us. What's going on with your iPad?
Wow, gee. Well, to tell you, I went on the phone with Apple tech support, the iPad. All of a sudden, one day, he's got a 5th generation iPad, and he's got that home button on the bottom.
Yeah.
Of the thing. It's for my dad.
Yeah.
He likes it because he's blind, so he can use that to
He
get. He
talks to Siri, right?
Yeah. I just read email, and I used to do that.
Yeah.
And then maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, it stopped doing it all by itself. Oh man.
Computers are designed to cause a world of hurt. Let me just see if I have the new iPad mini right in my hands right here. It doesn't have a home button, but it has that on off switch. I'm going to turn off my mic real quickly and say, hey, read my email. Let's see what happens here. Sorry, I can't help with that. I guess that's what your dad's getting. Sorry, can't help with that.
Yeah, read the Get Mail app or something.
Yeah, it says open the Mail app. Then I can, read it yourself is what Siri says.
But you got to hear this, though. I spent over an hour and a half on this guy on the phone. We tried all kinds of areas, the general, the accessibility, and I already know about the speak to screen and the voice.
And speak selection, right.
It doesn't really work for my dad because he needs that something to feel so he can do something with it because...
He likes pressing the home button. And so Siri, which is Apple's voice assistant, can respond to, hey, we'll say Shlomo instead, but, kind of want to trigger a bunch of people's iPhones. But, hey, Shlomo, and it will respond. That's what I did. You can also, on the iPhone and the new iPads, press the screen on-off switch, press and hold. That'll turn on you-know-who. And on the older iPads with the home buttons, you press the home button. So is Siri not popping up anymore?
No, it doesn't recognize the email. The email comes up on the screen.
So Siri comes up, but it just doesn't read it.
Yeah, and that's the thing that he really likes. And I went to the Apple store next to near Worcester in Northborough, and he did the same thing the guy did on the telephone, and there was nothing he could do. I said, no, it's he said it was something like, well, because it's old, it could be because. When you're updating,
it might be that they broke it when they updated because there've been a lot of updates lately.
Yeah.
I don't think he's on iOS. Is he on iOS 15 or 14? Probably still.
I don't know.
You don't know? Yeah. They haven't taken that ability out, as far as I know. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah. So the first thing to do, and this is, I'm sure, what the Apple Genii did. Is checked.
Wait a minute, Leo. I think it's 14.8.
14.8 is the last version that came out last week, just before iOS 15 came out. So he is up to date. There is, of course, iOS 15. He doesn't have to install that yet. That just came out this week on the 20th. So that's brand new. But 14.8 is 14. Yeah, 14.8 is up to date.
Okay, and there was something else I forgot to tell you. I was so frustrated. I thought, well, okay, maybe I'll just reset it. I did the reset, and that didn't work. So maybe the factory reset might do it. I actually tried that too, and I thought I ruined everything. I had a hard time getting it back to operate. No, geez.
Oh man.
I did it, but I did all that.
So he's saying, "Hey Shlomo, read me my emails," right?
Yeah.
And Shlomo is saying, can't do that.
That's right, yeah.
Huh. Let me try it again on mine. Just out of curiosity. I'm on iOS 15.
Okay.
Read me my emails. Nope, sorry, I can't help with that. So now let me look, and of course, remember, we have to do the accessibility stuff. Make sure that that's all turned on, which is speak screen. Yeah. And speak selection and all that stuff, but it worked before, right? So it's presumably it hasn't been turned off.
You know what it is? I think Apple is doing something against us. I think
speech controller. Let me just see. Speech controller. Make sure speech. I suspect what happened is in an update. Maybe it was 14.8. Something got switched off.
So, I think so.
Yeah. So let me see. But you went to the Genius, and let me just try this now.
Okay.
Read my email. Let me just see again if I... No, sorry, I can't help with that. You know what? They broke it on mine, too.
Oh.
I don't think it's his. I think it's in general.
Yeah.
They maybe turned that feature off. Let's see if anybody in the chat room could figure it out and help us. I've looked at all the Apple websites. I don't see that they turned it off. Read my email.
Okay.
Let me just see.
I can't help with that.
I can't help with that. What do you mean you can't help with that? Come on, Siri. Well, that's frustrating.
I get a nice hammer.
That is frustrating.
The good thing is I only spent $100 for it.
Now, here's the good news.
Okay.
Apple has a dedicated accessibility expert. So what you're going to want to do is, instead of talking to the regular person, because this is a feature they call accessibility. So I'm going to give you the number. This is for their accessibility support. And you say, I have an accessibility issue. My My father needs to have Siri read the email, and it's not working. You ready? 877, it's toll free, 204-3930. Now, these people, their entire purpose in life is to get this stuff working. So, unlike the person you talk to as a generalist, they will know if this has been broken somehow.
Oh, yeah.
In 14.8 or something like that.
Hey, thanks, Leo.
Yeah, the accessibility support. You can also Google Apple accessibility support, and you can find that number. There's different numbers in the UK and Australia and so forth. But that's the U.S. number. And if anybody can fix this, it's going to be them.
Yeah, I don't think you said it's, I don't think I saw this number, though.
877-204-3930.
Well, maybe it is in there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, anyway, give it a shot.
Yeah.
Because you're talking to the accessibility person, I think you're going to have a better look at. They're at least going to be sympathetic, right? This is their job, and if they say, "Hey, you know, I feel so bad, but we took that feature out," which I mean, if they did, shame on them. But maybe they did, or they're going to say, "Oh, you got to make sure." You know, here's what almost certainly, Jay, the Apple did an update. And they're always changing things, and they changed accessibility, and there's some switch that needs to be on that's not. The guy you talked to on the phone, the person you saw at the Genius Bar, they weren't up to date on the latest, but the accessibility guy should be, or gal should be. Those people, that's the whole reason for them existing. So give that a try. Let me know, Jay, if it works, all right? Now, via fiber from the borders, the edge of space, we bring you Rod Pyle. He's living in a lava tube sometime in the future.
Now you've oversold my Ethernet connection. But it's not lagging this time, which is good.
And you sound 10 times better, too.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm still building out the studio, so I'll need another week for that. But I have my little foam rubber audio isolator up next to my microphone and all that nonsense.
It sounds good. I hear the full, rich panoply of frequencies built into your voice.
Well, okay. Tell it to my biggest fans. I think I have 17 of them.
Hey, did you watch Foundation yet?
No. It's on Apple TV,
Apple
right?
TV. Do you have Apple TV? I guess I should ask.
I had it. I'll have to check and see if I killed it or not. How was it?
I was surprised. It was good. I haven't yet seen anything great on the Apple TV. People liked For All Mankind. I kind of sort of liked For All Mankind, but...
Yeah, I kind of came and went on it, you know? There's a lot of soap opera mixed in with the good stuff.
Yeah, you know me. I don't like the soap opera. I like my space... I like my steely-eyed spacemen to be steely-eyed.
Well, and you I was going to say something about the steely-eyed space women, but I mean, they just got into so much this interpersonal drama, and
that's what makes
I'm in love with somebody I can't be in love with.
I think Foundation is pretty good. Anyway, we'll talk in about 10.
Okay,
thank you. Singing, we will geek out. Yeah, Leo Laporte. The Tech Guy, 8888, ask Leo the phone number, geeking out with my dear friends like Daniel in Fresno. Hello, Daniel.
Hey, Leo.
How are you today?
Pretty good.
Good.
I just wanted to let you know, I called in a few weeks ago about my monitor not working. I'm the blind guy that bought a new monitor and it wouldn't work. And Windows kept telling me that I had installed, the best drivers were already installed.
Yeah.
And he had told me to try and go into safe mode and see if I can get it.
Yeah, did that help? Yeah.
Actually, I didn't need to do that. All I ended up doing was unplugging my Western Digital USB external hard drive. I rebooted the computer and it worked.
Oh, isn't that weird? So I have had this happen with USB. You can have something hanging off your computer on the USB port that keeps it from booting, that keeps it from working. There's all sorts of weird stuff. Can you plug the Western Digital back in now?
Yes.
So everything's working?
Everything is working fine now.
Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, so now I have a different question.
Okay.
My mom has some gospel music that she wants to be able to stream to some Amazon Echo Dots that we have around the house.
Yes.
They're ripped onto the computer. how can I get them to stream onto the dots?
I'm trying to now. So, iTunes, Google both have a feature to upload your own music. I'm trying to remember if Amazon Music also has that feature. They used
to, but they don't anymore.
Oh man!
Google does anymore. Google does anymore. Either.
Yeah. Google moved to YouTube Music, and yeah, they changed that whole thing. So
I am subscribed to Apple Music, so I get iTunes Match.
Yes, and that will do it. iTunes Match will do it.
Okay, so all I would need to do is say create a playlist or something.
Yeah. So
music that you want.
yeah. And then you tell your Amazon Echo to play music from Apple Music, and I think it should work. So iTunes Match, as opposed to the other music services Apple offers, iTunes Match predates Apple's streaming service. It was $25 a year. They still offer it, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. And the idea, which I thought was great, and in fact, I still pay for it because I love that idea, is it will match any music in your library, whether it came from Apple or not, including your gospel recordings that you ripped from a CD. It'll replace any low-quality ones with high-quality AAC, and it will store them in the cloud. So you can, once everything is matched, you could even take those music files off your computer. And the reason they did that is so that you could stream them to your iPhone, for instance, or your Amazon Echo, without having any storage taken up by those songs. So you've got to match everything. It'll tell you if you're using iTunes, or I guess they call it Apple Music now. If you're using Apple Music, the music app on your Mac, it'll tell you if everything's uploaded. It'll have a little cloud next to it. Once it's all matched and in the cloud, then it should have no problem playing back on your devices.
Okay. So, like I said, the only thing I'll have to do is maybe create a playlist of that music, and then.
Well, you should be able. Yeah, you should. Yeah, that's okay. So she wants to ask for it by name. Yeah, certainly. If you made a playlist, you could ask for the playlist by name. Yeah.
Right. Okay, because the music isn't on Apple Music. It's only going to be on the computer. I already searched for it on Apple Music, thinking.
It won't be. This is what's confusing. It won't be on the Apple Music streaming service. So I'm not sure how Amazon works. Amazon may not see it because they may just look on the streaming service. It will be in your library. So that may be a little hitch in the giddy up there. I'll have to look into that one. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Plex will do it. That's annoying that Amazon took that feature out. That's really annoying. So
I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, thanks, Amazon. Yeah, I'm a little, let's see, My Media for Alexa. My Media is, okay, so there is an Amazon Echo service called My Media that you might need to do that. That's interesting. So it's you have to download My Media for Alexa, run the installation file, go through the setup process in the My Media for Alexa console. You know what? There's an article here on Tech Hive that somebody put up in the chat room. I'm going to put that in the show notes because this is designed to do exactly what you want, which is to add a skill to your Amazon Echo called My Media that will allow you to play your music.
Okay.
And it will do it with iTunes playlists, among other things. So that's another way to do it. That's an Amazon Echo skill called My Media. You also have to have it on the computer because it has to upload the music. My Pod is another way to do it. It'll use Google Drive. So you could put those gospel songs on Google Drive. And then there's a My Pod skill for Echo that can play them off of Google Drive. So this is 3 other ways to do it. So I'll put this link up. This is from a techhive.com article. Very interesting article, actually. Jared Newman. It's a couple of years old, but I would imagine these things still work.
Okay.
MyMediaAlexa.com is the website for My Media.
Okay.
All right.
I was going to tell you, too, I have seen, remember that guy was talking about seeing the invalid email?
Yeah.
I've actually seen that. JAWS, I use JAWS for my screen reader. I've seen JAWS, or heard JAWS announce that to me when I'm typing in an email address.
What the heck is
but I haven't had the problem of it not working. It'll go ahead and let it go through. but I did get that little announcement that it's an invalid email. So I don't know what's going on.
What could that be? That's the first call of the day. It's still stumping. It's stumping me.
Yeah.
Weird. I don't know.
I thought it was just a weird JAWS thing that was, there was some weird interaction with Windows or with the browser. But when he said that, I was like, wow, maybe that's what's going on.
So interesting. Gosh, that one's going to bug me for the rest of the week. I got to find the answer.
No, me too.
Yeah.
And it was in different browsers and everything. I've seen it in different browsers.
So weird. All right, Daniel, try mymediaalexa.com. This looks like a good way to do it. The problem I'm worried is if you do the iTunes match, it may not show up in Apple Music, the streaming service, and that's, I think, what Amazon Echo is using to stream.
Right. Yeah, that's the part I wasn't sure about.
Which means you wouldn't be able to... Yeah, your music does not show up on Apple's streaming service. It's so confusing. It's so confusing. So you might have to do one of these other options.
Okay.
All right.
I'll
Let me know. Thank you, Daniel. Have a good one. Bye. It's time for our own rocket man, Rod Pyle, the author of First on the Moon, now in its 5th printing. Wow, congratulations. The best book about the Apollo 11 moon landing. Editor-in-chief of Ad Astra magazine at nspace.nss.org. Publishers Weekly says, he's my moon man. Here he is, Rod Pyle, ladies and gentlemen, via Ethernet from somewhere outside our solar system. So Captain Kirk is going up.
How about that? And there are all kinds of jokes that come to mind, but let's be kind. I mean, the guy's earned it.
90 years old. He'll be the oldest man ever to leave the Earth.
Yeah, and probably for some time. And he can afford it. Thank goodness. But
can he, or is the documentary, because it's going to be a documentary, I have a feeling.
Of course.
It's like $20 million, isn't it, to go up in Jeff Bezos' New Shepard?
Yeah, but think of all the residuals.
That's what's going on, I think. Maybe he's been saving.
He didn't get them from the original
saving
series.
His Star Wars pennies. But Star
reboot,
Trek. Yeah.
Star Trek pennies,
Star Trek was on for 2 years. It wasn't, I don't think, a big moneymaker, but...
I think 3 seasons, wasn't it?
3 seasons? Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but, I mean, all the movies... all the conferences, all the fandom.
And TMZ says he should wear his Star Trek uniform. And I hope he does. With the little bell bottoms.
They're going to have to let it out a little bit, but I should talk.
He could bring his phaser. It'd be great.
No matter how fast you go, can you outfly that acting from the 1960s?
Look, it's a spacecraft.
And I had a friend that worked with him on a voiceover session once, and he said, what was that all about? And he said, pauses get people to pay attention to you. Right. And I thought, well, okay.
That's right.
It's a bit much, but... So, hey, I got a vote early and vote often for SpaceX story.
Okay. What's going on?
Well, they're under FAA review. It's interesting. It's largely an environmental impact study in a sense, but the FAA is handling it for their Starship operations out of Boca Chica. So there's concerns about the amount of noise, visual pollution, air pollution, blah, blah, blah for people. And then there's also concerns, which are somewhat legitimate for fish and other wildlife, particularly birds in that area, as they increase their operations. Now, routine tests, let's say they do a test every couple of months. That's kind of what Boca Chica signed up for when they let those guys move in there. But if the full Starship stack of Starship and then the heavy booster itself ended up having, a near ground malfunction, as in a kaboom, then that is kind of a big deal. So the FAA is looking at it, which is legit. But to our point, this is the public comment period. So I put a link up at the top of my website, pylebooks.com. And if you're motivated, you can go in and file a public comment with the FAA. And my preference would be that comment be, hey, let these guys do their thing. So this isn't commenting on flight operations in infinite. This is just commenting on the next couple of years of testing. So I think we need to give them at least that. And then when they start flying all the time routinely, they probably ought to move out to Florida. But that remains to be seen.
Hey, Boca Chica, it's in the middle of nowhere, right?
Big time.
Yeah.
If you've been to that part of Texas, you now know what nowhere looks like.
Yeah. So, I mean, come on. If it blows up, what?
Well, I mean, there is a town nearby, and
Okay.
you know,
All right.
they got to make sure. I mean, this thing's got the energy of a small nuclear device,
Oh,
so
well, there. Let's
you
put
do
it
want to
that
make
way.
sure that it's safe. But if it's a matter of convenience, or how many white-tailed mud swabblers are going to be scorched, then that's another conversation. And I'm not an anti-environmentalist, but things that human activities we do impact wildlife, and it's a balance that we have to figure out over time. So, I'm not going to tell people what to say, but if they want to get in on the act, they can go to my website or the FAA website and file comment, I think up through October 14th.
I like the picture the FAA released.
Isn't that great?
Asking for public comment. It's the big blue marble of the Earth floating in space, and the text says, "Hello out there. We want to hear from you."
It's unusually jocular for the FAA. Isn't it?
No kidding. Anyway, so you can leave a comment. Certainly, I'm in favor of SpaceX continuing their amazing work. I don't want to blow up Boca Chica on the other hand. So I don't know. Isn't this the same problem at Cape Canaveral?
It is, although at Canaveral and Kennedy, you have the advantage of when you fly out over the water, you're going out over the Atlantic Ocean, so anything that goes wrong happens over the Atlantic Ocean, whereas Boca Chica, you're still at some point going to fly over land again. So ultimately...
Do they fly over Houston? Do they fly over Dallas? I mean, that would be another issue entirely. I can understand.
They fly over the Gulf.
Oh,
you got Florida on the other side of that.
It's the southern tip of the Gulf.
But Florida, when you fly from Florida, you go out over the Atlantic.
Right.
I mean, there's a risk of flying anywhere, right?
Yeah. There's also an environmental impact, although SpaceX uses a pretty safe fuel, don't they? That's not environmentally too dangerous.
It's methane. Yeah, it's not like
methane. I thought they were using something.
It's methane liquid oxygen, but that's not bad. I mean, it's a climate change.
It's a greenhouse
issue,
gas,
but
for
in
sure.
small batches.
Yeah.
But compared to what they call hypergolic fuels, which is what the Russians use a lot and we used to, which are chemicals that react with a big angry kaboom without an ignition source. They just hate each other and explode. Those things are really toxic.
Okay.
Chinese upper stages use those too. But yeah, compared to those, the SpaceX stuff is no big deal.
I was watching Apple TV's Foundation. And one of the things that featured very prominently at the beginning, both in the novel and in Apple TV, is a space elevator. And I had to explain to Lisa, my wife, why a space elevator? Because that's a much better way of getting out of the Earth's gravity well.
It's a much better theoretical way.
Yeah, nobody's built one. And it would have to be, 90 miles high. It's a pretty big elevator.
Yeah. Well, and the materials are really the issue. And there's a couple of organizations that have been founded to address this, Space Elevator Consortium and one or two others. And we run articles in the magazine from them every now and then. And it's, there are no technological showstoppers as far as we know. It's getting that magic material, whatever, carbon fiber bucky tubes or whatever the hell they're going to make the cable out of, to be able to go out that far and be strong enough to carry cargo up and down. And then also, if the thing for some reason parts, you don't want it falling down and hurting people.
That, by the way, turns out to be a little bit of the problem in the TV show. So,
oh, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a space elevator. It could wrap its way around the world. If you're not careful.
Long enough, yeah.
You got to be careful.
But for everything I've read, there's a reasonable expectation this could happen in the next 10 to 30 years. There are going to be some people that yell at me for saying that because they want to say 5 or 10 years. But I would guess at least 20 to 25. Because back in the 70s, if somebody had said to me, yeah, we won't be looking at going back to the moon until 2025, I would have said, nonsense. Well, I probably would have said something else, but something along those terms. Yeah,
Folderol.
But, things move slower than we like sometimes.
Yeah, it takes time. Actually, Out of Sync in our chat room saying a space elevator would have to take you into geosynchronous orbit, which means it'd have to be 22,000 miles high. That's big. That's big. It is interesting. They have various plans for them that would carry people, that would carry cargo, and essentially let it go at the end of the space elevator and sling it towards Mars and other targets.
Yeah.
Oh,
So there's there's a whole bunch of different models for this. How it will ultimately end up working, I think, probably depends more on the materials engineering than anything else, at least in the short term.
And it's held up by centripetal force?
Yeah. Centrifugal force.
Because it's spinning around and
swings around, and it's basically like, attaching a fishing weight to the end of a piece of string and whirling around your head.
What could possibly go wrong? Rod Pyle.
Well, but it's not filled with a small nuclear weapon worth of explosives every time it launches.
True.
So you've got that to look forward to.
Space.nss.org if you want to subscribe to Ad Astra. He's the editor-in-chief over there. Thank you, Rod.
Thank you.
I didn't realize it'd have to be that tall. That's why it wrapped its way around the Earth. Now I understand.
Is that what happens in the show?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's kind of a problem.
Big visual effects.
It's a beautiful, they really do it nicely in the show.
So I had two other stories. I
used up all your time.
Well, no, I did, because I realized, I got to get the word out on the SpaceX thing.
I'm glad you did. What else do you want to talk about? You got time. You're on the podcast. Here's your chance. I'm going to slurp my noodles. You talk.
Okay, there's two. I don't know if they deserve to be on air or not. There's this interesting study that came out of University of Arizona about the early formation of the solar system, and basically saying, we think this model we've had for decades of there was all this primordial protoplanet junk just kind of wandering around the entire solar system, but they were looking particularly at the inner solar system, and that they bang into each other and they stick and they created the planets. But there's some problems with that in terms of trajectories and getting that mass to stick together at the speeds they were moving and getting these conglomerations of junk into perfect spheres. So this latest study, and this is only possible with, mega computing and machine learning and all this kind of stuff that's beyond my pay grade, basically says that they think that it took a lot longer than we think, and it was really more of like a rock'em sock'em early solar system, multiple impacts to slow them down. And it gets really complicated.
They called them rambunctious.
Rambunctious planets, yeah. And that they repeatedly bang into one another and get slower each time until they finally slow down to a speed where accretion or sticking makes sense. And then it gets more complicated with when you look at the interaction of Earth and Venus, and Earth is kind of, in their model anyway, running interference for Venus by impacting a bunch of stuff first before it goes into, because everything goes down the gravity well of the solar system, right? It wants to go towards the sun. So Earth is kind of running interference in this outer orbit, and then by the time stuff gets to Venus, it's a little slower after the rebound, and it makes more sense it's going to stick there. And it goes on and on. They also talk about the moon, trying to create a standard model for the moon, because again, the idea for quite a while now has been some big thing went bang into Earth and formed the moon, but the moon is so similar in composition to Earth, at least in this model that they're presenting, that two or more impacts would have been required with the same two bodies to swap enough material for the moon to, in terms of its isotopes, look just like the Earth, like it does. So it's a big, long story, but those are kind of the high points, which I thought were pretty cool, because it kind of really changes the way we think about this stuff so long ago.
It's cool research. I guess because they're using big computers and AI and machine learning, they can these models can be more complex than in the past, and so they can actually model it out. It's kind of interesting.
So much more complex.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It hurts my brain. By the way, since we're on the podcast, I'll ask you now. I have a story about space sexology for next week. Is that appropriate for air?
Sure. Just be,
Basically, it's a group out of Canada, of course, the French part of Canada, as you might expect, saying, hey, for these long duration space voyages, you guys, NASA and ESA and the other groups better start looking at...
Thinking about it, yeah.
Yeah, because people are going to need it, and there's a lot of potential problems here, so let's talk about it. So that's cool.
They can't get the space toilet working on the Crew Dragon. I don't know what they're going to do when in the year 2525.
Well, I've always felt bungee cords were probably the right solution. Just kind of holds everything
It is actually
together.
a topic in a lot of sci-fi, so I'll be curious. Yeah, just couch it in a family-friendly way. And
I will.
We'll be all right. Thank you, Rod.
Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, thank you for letting me do this crazy thing. Way back in the 90s when I said, I want to do a technology call-in show. I was told, well, that's kind of foreign language programming. We don't want to do that. But thank you. Thank you to all the stations up and down the Premier Network that let us do this show. Thank you to all the listeners and the sponsors. And you know what? Turns out this computer stuff, I think it's going somewhere. I think it's going places. So I am very grateful. Thank you very much for letting me be part of your afternoon. Let's go to Mark in Orange County, our next caller. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Mark. Oh, I have to push a magic button. There we go, Mark. You're on.
Hey, Leo.
Welcome.
Great to talk to you.
Thank you.
I've got a brand new Tesla on order, Model 3.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
I see them everywhere now. Everywhere. Yeah. It's easily the best-selling electric vehicle of all time.
Yeah, the Model Y, too.
Yeah.
But I know you used to drive a Tesla.
I had a Model X. Yes.
For a Ford Mustang. I'm wondering why. Should I cancel the test and go get a Mustang?
It's so funny. The other day I was doing getting my yearly physical, which these days is on Zoom, which is a little weird. But at the end of the physical, my doc, who I'm a good friend, says, "Can I ask you a tech question?" And I said, "Okay." He said, "I have a Model E on order, but I've tried this Model 3. I love it. Which should I get?" And I said, "Well, Doc, actually, I think you'd be happy with either." I loved my Model X. I got it when it just first came out. I had one of the very early Model X's. Never had any problems with it. My wife was not as crazy about it because, and this is, I think, important to understand if you buy a Tesla. Tesla is not a traditional car company. They are much more like a Silicon Valley tech company. They iterate fast. You would get updates, almost weekly on your Tesla. I don't know if it's still the case, but at the time, because they're constantly iterating. They're trying new stuff. They do crazy stuff. There was a fart mode on my Model X. As I go down the road, it would pass gas, which is Elon Musk's kooky sense of humor. Ford would never do that. They're a car company, right? And so I didn't mind the Model X because I'm a tech guy. I'm used to beta. I'm used to things sometimes not working quite right. Once the seat got out of whack and started to eat my wife, basically squished her, didn't hurt her, but it made her mad. The doors didn't have all the sensors. This is the one with the Falcon Wing doors that it should have had. They implied that it's never going to hit anybody. It would routinely hit her in the head, so much so that we actually had to set up a protocol where I would shout, "Doors are closing, stand clear," before I pushed the button. Little things like that drove her nuts. Didn't bother me because I use computers, right? It's normal.
No wonder she didn't like it.
I'm not trying to hit you in the head, honey. It's the Model X. The other reason I was a little concerned at the time, and I don't know if this is better or worse, about the availability of repair parts. I'd heard horror stories from people with broken windshields who couldn't get them for months, things like that. I think Tesla, given that they've made 1 million Model 3s now, I think they probably solved that. And then ironically, Ford's having the same problem with the Mach-E because it's a brand new vehicle, and they've had they've had a big recall because the glass panel on the roof wasn't properly attached in the Mach-E's that went to Canada, so they had to recall 38,000 of them. And apparently it's going to be delayed because they don't have enough of them. So these things happen. I think you'd be happy with either. Have you driven both?
No, just the Tesla.
I've never met a Model 3 or Model Y owner who didn't love it. But just to understand, it's a different beast. The Ford is much more like a regular vehicle. I think it's a little quieter on the road. It's not as peppy. You don't get that ludicrous or insane mode acceleration that Tesla's famous for. I like Apple.
Tesla's more computer than car, actually.
Yeah, but I think all electric vehicles really are very simple. They're computers on skateboards that are essentially golf carts. The technology is actually incredibly simple compared to an internal combustion engine. So yeah, they're really heavily computerized. There are some strange things about the Mach-E. There's a YouTuber who is a former Ford employee, but has had some terrible things to say about the Mach-E. He looked at the cooling system in the Mach-E and was, said, this is insane. This is crazy the way this is designed, Sandy Monroe. So, neither of them is perfect. I really opted more for the car manufacturer. I felt like somebody that has expertise in auto manufacture should manufacture my auto, especially because of their focus on reliability and safety. But I loved my Tesla. My wife complains about the Mach-E too. The other day, she called me in a panic. She said, I can't get the thing started. It uses the phone as a key. They only give you one fob when you buy a Mach-E, and one key fob, and you're supposed to use your smartphone, but it only works about half the time. And, she said, I can't get the car started. So I had to walk her through a fairly elaborate process, which worked, to get it started. So it's a little bit like a computer too. I think you'll be very happy with your Model 3. I wouldn't say I didn't abandon Tesla because I hated them. I think I think we all owe a debt of gratitude to Elon Musk for making electric vehicles possible, making them popular. And nobody gets better range. Nobody's more fun to drive, I think, than the Teslas. The other thing that really was a big selling point for me, I don't like the Tesla multimedia interface. I really like Apple CarPlay, and Tesla doesn't support it. Ford does. That was kind of a selling point for me as well.
Okay. Well, I think I'm going to stick with the Tesla.
Stick with the Tesla. I've never met anybody who's unhappy with the Tesla. Ever, except my wife. It's funny because people comment on the Ford and all the time, and they said, "Why didn't you get a Tesla?" Just like you, and my wife will shout, "'Cause it's terrible. Don't ever get it." So honey, it's not that bad. I liked my Tesla. Do you have a wife?
No.
Okay, you're good then. Get the Model 3.
I will.
And not the Falcon Wing doors. That might have been a mistake from on Elon's part. The other thing I'm a little concerned about, Elon has, but I don't think in the Model 3, but in the Model Y and the Model S, replaced the normal round steering wheel with a flight yoke, which I think is not a good design for a steering wheel. But I think on the Model 3 you get a regular steering wheel, don't you?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Yeah.
The one I test drove had a regular steering wheel.
Yeah.
I've seen the yoke. It looks kind of awkward.
It's very Elon. It's cool, right? He's big about cool, but because they didn't change, and of course that's on airplanes and on Formula One race vehicles, they have yokes, but that's because the steering ratio on race cars is a lot lower. A little bit of a turn of the wheel will turn your wheels more. It's 14-to-1 on a standard vehicle. It will be, I understand, 14-to-1 on the Teslas. That means hand-over-hand steering is going to be very difficult. I think it's a mistake. But that's they're going to do it. We'll see what happens. But you're getting a nice round wheel, so you're okay. You're going to like it. The other thing I think is a little an issue for me with the Model 3, I like some physical buttons. They put a lot of that in the console. And I don't like fiddling around with a screen in order to drive my car. It really is a computer on wheels.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be an issue. I think you'll be happy. You test drove it, so it's good.
Yeah, I did. I drove that, and I drove the Y.
It's also a lot easier to get the Model 3, I think, than to get a Ford Mustang Mach-E. They're hard to get these days. And dealers are being dealers. That's another nice thing about Tesla. No dealers. Dealers are adding significant surcharges to get the Mach-E. Mark, when's your Model 3 come?
I don't know yet. I only ordered it a week ago, and I haven't got a delivery.
Well, when you get it, you call me and let me know. I bet you're going to call and say, "Oh, Leo, I love it." Never met anybody who didn't.
Out there and show off.
All right. Hey, thanks, Mark.
Okay.
Take care. Have a great day. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, TWiT. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.